Insulin resistance and obesity are intimately linked health conditions, and both are becoming increasingly more common. Research has shown that only about 6% of adults fit all of the criteria for optimal metabolic health. The facts are that insulin resistance promotes weight gain and negatively impacts metabolism, which increases the risk of developing other metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, and even fatty liver disease from non-alcoholic sources. Fully addressing insulin resistance and weight gain requires a comprehensive look at overall lifestyle factors, including nutrition, physical activity, sleep, stress management, medications, toxin exposures, supplements, and sometimes even genetics. Understanding the close relationships between insulin resistance and weight gain allows us to focus on the factors that simultaneously help both conditions with a personalized approach. So what are some causes of insulin resistance? Of course, we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, so feel free to go back and listen to more in-depth episodes on specifically the causes. But at a quick glance, nutrition and lifestyle factors obviously play the biggest role. Diets high in processed foods, including refined carbohydrates, added sugars, highly processed meats, and vegetable or seed oils, can cause increased insulin release from the pancreas. This creates a pro-inflammatory state, which also damages cell membranes and increases the risk of developing insulin resistance. Lack of physical activity is a risk factor for developing insulin resistance as well. Working muscles can readily soak up glucose without insulin. So the more muscle you have and the more active you are, the more energy you can burn and the more sugar you can store without insulin. Insulin resistance and obesity fuel each other, with insulin resistance contributing to weight gain and obesity contributing to insulin resistance. Now, of course, there's also genetic factors, but let's be clear about this right up front. Genetic factors only tell you predispositions, not guarantees or destinies. You can have every genetic predisposition and never develop insulin resistance. And you can have no genetic predisposition and still develop insulin resistance. Variations in genes coding for insulin signaling, lipid metabolism, mitochondrial activity, and inflammatory mediators are genetic factors that can increase the risk of insulin resistance. So knowing this information about yourself can tell you where to prioritize things if you are developing insulin resistance or obesity. There are also hormone imbalances that are directly related to both insulin resistance and obesity. Imbalances in any hormone can contribute. Hormones don't just refer to estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone, but also glucagon, GLP-1, GIP, ghrelin, leptin, peptide YY, thyroid, and others can affect insulin release from the pancreas. Hormone imbalances in conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS can also alter insulin levels and insulin function, increasing the risk of weight gain and obesity. Stress of all kinds can contribute directly to both conditions. Lack of sleep, disrupted sleep schedules, high emotional stress, past unresolved trauma, toxins, underlying infections, nutrient deficiencies, certain medications, and even other health conditions can all impact and contribute to the development of insulin resistance, inflammation, and weight gain, or the inability to lose weight. Sleep is when a lot of our repair, detoxification, and insulin reduction occurs. We're not eating, we're not digesting, and we're not worrying about things when we're sleeping. Emotional stress, whether it's current or past trauma, increases stress hormones, which function to increase blood sugar, even without eating. This is true of all stressors. Anytime you get a cortisol spike or any kind of stress hormone spike, your blood sugar can go up even if you're not eating anything. This can therefore also trigger an insulin release to handle this extra sugar in the blood. This increase in insulin can directly contribute to both insulin resistance and fat gain. Toxins, underlying infections, and medications can contribute to insulin resistance by altering cell signaling, by damaging cell membranes or mitochondria. They can contribute to obesity through insulin resistance and as a protective mechanism by surrounding toxins that can't be detoxified with fat. So that fat is literally protecting you from toxins. Current research indicates insulin resistance disrupts normal metabolism and contributes to weight gain. Insulin is a storage hormone. It tells the cells what to do with incoming fuel, namely to store it as either glycogen or fat when those glycogen stores are full. Insulin also blocks the ability to break down stored fuels for energy, so you're stuck in gain or maintain modes. Studies also show that insulin resistance tends to increase hunger and cravings for high carbohydrate foods. This further contributes to weight gain and increased body fat. Insulin resistance and obesity promote inflammation, which can worsen both weight gain and insulin resistance. So what do we do about it? How do we prevent this weight gain? Diet, of course, is one of the most significant drivers of insulin sensitivity or resistance. So we want to focus on not driving the development of insulin resistance, but rather the reversal of insulin resistance or creating insulin sensitivity. This includes reducing simple and refined carbohydrates, lowering overall carbohydrate intake, focusing mostly on non-starchy vegetables as the primary carbohydrate sources, also prioritizing quality proteins and healthy fats. It's also important to have really good eating habits. We want to sit down, eat in an undistracted fashion, eat slowly, chew thoroughly, all of these things that really help us have proper digestion. Eating meals and not snacking is another great strategy for reducing the number of insulin spikes that you have throughout the day. This gives your digestion a break and also helps to improve the elimination of waste products. Adding intermittent fasting can be beneficial as well. So some physical activity strategies would be getting regular physical activity in. This is vital for improving insulin sensitivity. Exercise can help with maintaining an optimal weight, but isn't necessarily the best weight loss strategy for everyone. Exercises like walking, weightlifting, and high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, enhances insulin sensitivity by increasing glucose uptake and utilization in the skeletal muscles. This reduces blood glucose levels and improves insulin resistance. Once that glucose is inside the muscle cell, it cannot go back into the blood. Remember, the working muscle doesn't require insulin to uptake and burn that sugar. Strength training, including weightlifting, bodyweight exercises, or any activity building muscle, increases glucose uptake capacity. Strength training is valuable for helping to preserve lean body mass, supporting long-term weight management by increasing your resting energy expenditure. This not only helps with body composition, but also helps with longevity and physical capabilities and just overall vitality. Sleep. Prioritizing adequate amounts of quality sleep at appropriate hours is key to metabolic health. This regulates your circadian rhythm, decreases inflammation, helps regulate appetite, improves detox pathways, and can help you manage cravings and emotional desires to eat. Utilizing stress reduction techniques like mindfulness, yoga, deep breathing exercises, prayer, meditation, journaling, therapy, and valuable time with your friends, family, and pets has also been shown to reduce inflammation and improve overall metabolic health. Do things you love to do every single day. Helpful labs and testing. A comprehensive blood chemistry panel is the best place to start. Episode 112 discussed some of the labs that I recommend for metabolic health. Sadly, most doctors and insurance companies won't order the panel that includes the markers that you really need. I run a comprehensive panel with all of my clients because it is so vital to fully addressing the underlying problems. Other labs that can be really helpful in specific cases are stool testing, organic acids testing for metabolites, toxin panels, or even genomics testing. These are unique to the client based on the overall health, symptoms, and goals. You can also test your own blood sugar at home with a glucometer, a continuous glucose monitor, or even a glucose ketone meter. These tests don't tell you what your insulin levels are, as you can have totally normal glucose levels that are being handled by a totally normal insulin level or really high levels of insulin. Problems are arising if you have really high levels of insulin. So I really do think the comprehensive lab panel with a fasting insulin is key. A personalized plan is really where it's at. Personalized nutrition plans based on individual health factors should take into account your personal preferences, your lifestyle factors, your family, your social dynamics. All of these kinds of things matter when it comes to creating a nutrition plan. So specific individualized recommendations should outline the best ratio of macronutrients, timing, composition of meals, and recommend weight goals if that's relevant to you. If you're interested in taking a deeper dive into your metabolic health, apply to work with me. We can discuss your personal situation and create a plan of action.